Well, good morning everyone. So we're working on a Jeep. It was a 2.8 diesel engine and the alternator was not charging, but I'm sorry, I forgot to show you the old alternator, but I'll show you what the problem was. So within these alternators it has a clutch mechanism, and what was happening on the old alternator was the pulley was turning but the internals were not turning. So Roddy will just demonstrate how this one. So if you put it in the normal direction clockwise, it works normal, but if you stop it and whip it back the way, that's it, you can hear it, the clutch slips. So it's only meant to go in one direction. So the man who knows everything, our old pal Dave Sterrell, was telling me that they do that to decrease the load on the crankshaft, especially if it's one of these with the rubber, what is it called, the rubber mount or pulley, rubber pulley. So Roddy and myself never actually, morning, Roddy and myself never actually came across one of these before, but within there is a spline tool, a spline fitting, but the ones we had didn't fit, and so we took it down to a local auto electrician, and he never had the one to fit it either. Seemingly it's an odd size, so we ended up, rather than just changing this pulley, we had to go and get an entirely new alternator, which in this situation I think was not a bad shout, because the other one I think had been maybe remanufactured, i.e. a quick paint job. So here's a brand new one from Blueprint, talking about 300 odd pounds, so the Jeep will be good to go another day. This one's got a 150 amp output, and there was two available for this Jeep, but it's this one here that we needed with this special bracket, and as ever it's the one that's most expensive. So if your alternator's not charging, check the pulley on the thing. Anyway, cheers. Right, so we're at this Jeep. So we've put the new alternator back on it. So it's quite simple, this one actually. So you've got a bolt there, 13mm, a bolt there, another 13mm, and you need to see there's a bolt. Well, you have to loosen these two bolts here. Were they 14s, Roddy? I think they were 14s. And then it was this one down here. Is that bolt under there? That's a 16mm. So it slips on quite, it's okay. Now the only one is slipping the serpentine belt back on. So what we've done here, down into there, is an 8mm Allen key. So we just made up this extension, put it into an Allen key, and in order to do it, I'll show you. In order to slack the belt, you push the whole thing forward. You can see the belt flexing, and that loosens the belt. Then you can slip it back onto there. So that's how to do it in a Jeep Cherokee 2008. Oh, remember, your two connections there, one there, and then your signal from the computer for alternator excitation. I think that'll be a Lynn signal. I think there was 5 volts in that, so we'll put it back together, see if it starts charging. So there's the new alternator installed. So our voltage is 14.2, perfect. Our amperage is high at the moment because the battery was run completely flat. So this alternator is good for 150 amps. So actually the data on it said it peaked at 170 amps, so that looks good. So I just need to let it tick over. And then another thing I was going to show you was in here. See what the voltage of that thing was. So I'll put our meter in here. Oh, that's reading battery voltage. So that must be providing a full voltage to that thing there. So I'd assume once the alternator, the battery gets up to power, that would reduce the voltage going to that. So when it's sending 13 volts, that's telling it wants full whack. So we'll need to wait till it gets up a bit. If we're still here long enough, I'll show you. Cheers. Pinned into the back of that wire there, and using the Verus, so you can see there, it's just a straight 13.5 volts. So it reads 1 volt under battery voltage there. So I'll show you that. So there you go. The battery's charging at 14.22 volts. So anyway, but the acid test for this is that So you can see our amperage is slowly coming back down to charge the battery. Here was the spec sheet we got sent with the alternator. You can see it puts it 2000 watts, but this is about maximum output under full load 172 amps. Its charging voltage is 14.3. So there's all the spec on it. So this is a blueprint alternator, so good stuff I believe. And there's its 150 amp. That's a lot. So $14.2. We'll just let it idle and then it should be good enough to go. Well, the alternator's guy hot, I can tell you.